anticipated or wanted, and proud of our kids' fight. Just continue to struggle with injuries, and we've got some more guys out tonight during the game. Seemed like several key guys, but that's part of it. So it's been one of the games of the year for some reason. But these kids fought and battled and competed, and just didn't have enough bullets. So, questions?
Justin?
Obviously, this is a loss that puts you out of bowl contention. I guess what's your sort of approach going forward in terms of balancing, trying to get something still out of this year, and sort of playing towards the future? And what does that look like? How do you strike that balance?
Yeah, bottom line is I get ready to play next week, so that doesn't change. Got to play our best football next week. A lot of character in that room, a lot of guys hurting, but these guys are fighters, are tough, and there's no chance this team's gonna let up. So it's just, it hurts. Obviously it's the furthest thing anybody ever thought would happen this year, but it's just as far as to answer your question, I talked to all the captains already before I headed in here, and there's a lot of tears in there, but there's also a lot of resolve in there. A lot of guys have given a whole lot to this program and have a lot of character to themselves, and so when you got something to you, then circumstances don't dictate how hard you play and how you prepare. And therefore, I get it. I understand that the dynamics of what's at stake as far as what was lost tonight. But like I said, you have something that is truly special, and that is your character and your toughness and your grit and your fight. That's who you are. So those things aren't determined based on circumstances. So our kids are going to come back tomorrow and go back to work. So that's what I expect, and that's what's going to happen.
Tom and Matt Weaver.
Tom, when you see a nice long drive like Donovan led at the time on the touchdown drive, and you see some other plays here and there, I know you have to be very, very patient with his progress, but do you still get to at least see some things that make you feel good going forward from what you're seeing out of him so far?
Well, there's no question. I think tonight there's times he looked like a true freshman that, put in a tough situation pretty quickly, but there's also times where he made some really good plays. So, and there's even every day that he practices in that role and plays in that role, every snap he takes is great for his future and for our future. So there's no question, I think he was expecting to be our starting quarterback, this week, but that's where we're at. And so, but there's no doubt there's been growth. But I do think tonight was tough. It's a tough environment, tough team, really good defense. Their front seven's really, really talented. Their front four is really impressive guys. But we need that going in, and he's got he's obviously made some mistakes tonight. Just some simple things that you don't usually have issues with, but when he's with his youth and experience, it shows up sometimes. So, but yeah, definitely a lot to build off of without question. He's a competitor, he's tough, he takes some tough hits and always seems to fall forward and hop right back up. So I like what I see.
Matt, and then Sammy.
Coach, I know obviously the defense gave up some, but they had a lot of stops down there, held them to some field goals, but you just couldn't get the offense going. I know it's been probably tired of hearing being asked about this, but just the fact that you guys just can't get anything going that side of the ball and kind of compliment the defense when they make some plays for you. I guess how frustrating has it been? And
yeah, it has been. There's no question, and obviously not scoring, near enough points, and the defense, and that's where, like you say, compliment each other, and that's really been the frustrating thing to me, because last week, offense did some good things, and the defense did step up. There's no question we had some big stops tonight. Defensively, the kids played super hard and competed, and, that last touchdown we gave up was frustrating just because it was just a mistake or bad eyes, and should have given it up, the long pass that led to the touchdown, but just to be able to play complementary football where offense and defense are working off each other hasn't been the case. This season's been a real struggle for us to do that, and I think it's a big reason why we haven't had the success that we expected to have too, is to be able to have, create takeaways on defense and play complementary football on one side of the ball is doing certain things. But yeah, just there's no doubt it's frustrating, but we just got to continue to battle and fight and just keep finding ways to get better.
Sammy, the mic.
Coach, Peyton Hendershot at the end of the first half kind of looked animated about not going quickly on the offense. What was his frustration there? And then I think in the second half, late in the third quarter, you had an exchange with Nick Sheridan. What was said there? And what was that conversation like, if it was a conversation?
Yeah, so, Peyton was, he wanted us to go down and chuck the ball down the field, and obviously, I think he was trying to do a good job of, it's a 10-point game at that point, and Don was a young quarterback, and just trying not to put ourselves in a bad position at that point in the game, just feeling like we had a chance to, didn't, like to admit it for maybe a 3-point game, and we're not giving up that previous touchdown, but at the same time felt like that we were in a position to where we would, I just didn't want us to make a mistake, right before half, and those things can happen with a young quarterback for sure. So the bottom line is that, when I was talking to Nick, I was trying to figure out what happened there was a snap to the quarterback that wasn't supposed to happen, and it's frustrating the fact that we had a key third down and we couldn't get the snap executed. And it was basically between the center and the quarterback. And once again, he's a young quarterback, and he said a certain verbiage that the center responded to, and so I wanted to know why that happened. That was the bottom line with that. And so because that was a key third down, point in the game, just trying to make sure we stayed on the field, to get a first down. Defense was getting some field goals and forcing field goals and giving us a chance to stay in it, and knew that the time was running out on us to be able to have enough snaps and enough possessions left. So that's the reality of holding guys accountable for why we didn't get that executed.
Mike, and then back home.
Coach, there was a fair amount of shuffling with the offensive line. Was that injuries, looking for answers, or both?
No, it was injuries. So it was just the first play of the game, Luke, he didn't play. Played one snap. So that wasn't expected at all. And so, but just shuffle guys from there, and the guy gets dinged up, and so yeah, that was more injuries. It wasn't trying to find some magic formula.
Matt Cohen and Griffin.
Donovan talked about kind of trying to find where to be comfortable, and it doesn't seem to quite know yet all these ways to find comfortable, especially at a place like this. What are you working on with him to try to help him learn a bit more?
Well, I think that there's no simulation that you can do other than just playing the game. So being here, being in this environment, this week we did not use crowd noise last week, for obvious reasons, and we did this week, and even during practice that was kind of challenging. That was his first time handling that, because when we do the crowd noise in practice, you literally can't hear anything, and so it's challenging, and so it actually was even louder than it was even here tonight, so but there's still just, once again, you can't simulate the game experience. And so, him playing in these games and in this environment is huge. He's now played against Ohio State and Michigan, and 2 of those 3 on the road, so with the Maryland game on the road. So just tremendous growth opportunities for him. It's growing pains for all of us, but you can't, like I said, that's what he needs if he's going to keep getting better, which he will. But it's never, the growth is not going to be like this. You get here, and then you go here, and then sometimes you go back down, and you go here, and you go back. It's just that's the reality of how you develop anything. And so it's just sometimes there's tough parts of that process you got to go through. So that's where he's at, and that's where we're at. But like I said, I love his competitive toughness. I love his attitude and the way he's, sometimes it makes some plays you really smile. Sometimes you just, shake your head. But that's part of, once again, being a true freshman and being thrust into this opportunity. So he's a great young man, and he's growing every day.
Griffin, last one.
Coach, I guess you mentioned the injuries, and obviously that's been a thing all season long that's really plagued you guys. I guess how much of that is, is that a practice thing? Is that a change in how hard you guys go? Is that a luck thing? Is that a training staff thing? Where do you point the blame there?
Yeah, you go back and you look at, to me, it's always about the actual injuries and when they happen. And we've had a boatload of them happen in games, and, even with, I think about, Taiwan and Reese, who we tried to get them ready this week, and finally got to the point where we're like, you know what, they just need to stay home and just keep rehabbing. We didn't bring them, same with Josh, he was just hobbling around, and they've all been, there's all so many ankles. And then Stephen Carr tonight, went out with an ankle, and I don't know how you prevent ankle injuries. I guess you take everybody's ankles up too much, and we wear knee braces in games for guys to protect their knees for O linemen. But we take all of our guys get taped the way it is. I don't know. We've had a ton of foot and ankle injuries, and I don't know how you prevent those, to be honest with you. So I guess we've just been unfortunate, and we didn't have hardly any last year, and it's been the exact opposite this year. So I don't know if they do seem to come in cycles. So I guess you could say this is our opportunity, and hopefully it's the theme for the year, but not going to continue because it's been very frustrating. But you look at it, you don't want to ever feel like that you're missing something. You know, and our training staff will go through and we'll evaluate everything once the season's over. But as we've talked about, even as a staff, these aren't, you know, issues that have happened in practice. You know, they're not really a lot of I guess the context and think, you know, my Steven got tackled and defensive guys when they make tackles, but it's just been, gosh, more than anything, I just think it's been, you know, pretty unfortunate on our part. So unfortunately, that's what it's been. So we're not gonna make excuses, but it's reality. It's definitely hurt us.
All right, thanks, Tom.
Have a good night, Elio.
Bring Mike